Hello everyone and welcome back to Panzer strategy, where I'm back in the fourth mission. This time it's time for Valrot, the invasion of France. Of course they decided to put Val Gelb and Valrot into a one mission in this game, so I guess they just decided to call it Valrot. That's fine. We got a victory at Weser Ubung last time, and it means that we got Norway and Denmark under our control. And yeah, that went fairly well, I should say. Let's start preparing for the next mission. First of all, we do have quite a bit of HQ experience, but I want to put that into more experienced units, at least for now. Let's just take a look. There are a couple of units which I can level up, which is quite nice. For example, these guys can go for multiple support. What that does is that they can continue to provide support to your units until other ammunition is spent. So they can fire back multiple times. I think that's really good. So I'll be selecting that one first. And for these guys as well. I'm not too interested in the rest of those. So I think that that will work out well. Secondly, let's take a look here, because we should still be able to upgrade this bomber. That will cost me 16. Well, let's actually do it for the fighter. I think for the fighter that's a lot better, and they really need to go for all weather here. I think that's really good. Alright, now that we've taken care of that, it's time to buy a couple new units. First of all, I definitely want to buy another anti-aircraft gun. And that's over here. And I'll be going for the mobile one, so not one of those two. I want one that can keep firing at the enemy, so these are pretty good. I think a second one will complement my forces just fine. Then I also want to buy a fourth artillery in this mission, so not on these. Let's see. I want to go for a 15mm one, of course. Don't really need the veteran one. I kind of want to save my HQ experience as well, so I'll just stick it to this and buy it. Besides that, what I want to do is I actually want to upgrade the equipment of my ground forces here, because the Opel Blitz is okay, but if I give them these transports, they actually have +1 movement points, and I actually think that's very, very useful for them, so they can even move further while they're just walking regularly. So instead of 3 movement, they have 4 movement, and I think that's a lot better. So I'll be switching those up as well, which gets me still a reasonable amount of prestige left. I definitely want to go for a few more units. I already have 2 recon units, so what I want to do is I actually want to buy another tank. I only have 2 of them now, and I definitely want to go for a third. And the third one is going to be the Panzer 38T or the Panzer D. I think the Panzer D is a lot better because I'm not going to use them much against... well, actually, the Panzer 4D is... yeah, it's not that good against... tanks. The Panzer IV is mostly used against ground or against infantry and such. Not too interested in that. I think as for these two, the Panzer 38T is the best, so I'll be going for that one. Let's actually purchase that. So we got one of those, and then I also still want to buy another fighter, I think, for this mission. Another Messerschmitt. We have 2 of them now, but I want to get a third one because we also have 3 bombers at the moment. So I'll be going after that, and I will actually give them some experience as well. And that means that I'll be upgrading that with the all-weather ability. They'll be put to good use sooner or later. So that's it pretty much for the prestige. There we go. Then as for the HQ experience, is there anything that I really want to go and study? I'm thinking that I really want to go for the... for the aviation recon is not bad. It's pretty cheap. It costs 6, so if I learn this, yeah. Now it's 5, and it will cost 3 after that. That's the maximum we can study it. So using 3 command points will give me some decent recon. I think that's okay. Not too bad. And I'll save the rest of the HQ experience. Besides that, yeah, I'm ready and set to go. Let's just see what the generals have to say. I'm gonna be right back because I actually want to switch up the sound for my my game here a little bit. But after that, I'll be back in this screen once again. So I'll be saving it, and I'll be right back here. Alright, I'm back, and let's get started with the briefing of these guys. Let's start with Halder over here.
I must admit the Führer's intuition about Norway was right. I now have no reason to doubt the validity of the decision he made. The main forces offensive through the Ardennes will in fact likely lead to victory over France.
Ain't that nice? Let's see what Guderian says here.
The French have a very good tank corps. Their heavy B-1 tanks with better firepower and armor are superior to all our armored vehicles. It is necessary to use sub-caliber and cumulative projectiles against the French while also striking from the air.
French continue to utilize a strategy of tough defense which they created during the First World War. They keep their troops on the Maginot Line for 8 months and foolishly believe that they are protected in there. It is time for the French command to learn how a new maneuverable warfare looks. Okay. Well, let's get started then. And yeah, let's go into the beautiful cutscene at the start of each mission. I'm sure we'll have to obey the commander-in-chief again because that's our duty as a general. Let's see whether Halder will complain again about this plan.
As far as I understand, the command wants to use the 1914 Schlieffen plan once again.
We took it as the basis for our decisions. However, in addition to striking through Belgium and the Netherlands, we will implement the second strike through the Ardennes.
With 2 tank divisions, this is not enough. The fragmentation of the already weak armored forces would be the biggest mistake that could be made.
I drew the attention of the command to this. However, the Führer has a different opinion.
The opinion of the command is that subordinates must obey.
It is in our interest to begin the offensive with large tank and motorized forces and break through the defenses on the River Meuse near Sedan and further develop our offensive towards Amiens.
This is pointless. It is enough to reach the Meuse with armed forces and seize the bridges, then wait for the approach of the infantry and start a joint offensive.
Why wait? We can concentrate the entire impact force on the tanks in one sector and attack suddenly. By expanding the breach and introducing mobile connections into it, we will rush to the English Channel and completely encircle the Anglo-French troops.
That settles that. With a careful imitation of the offensive in Belgium and Holland, we will mainly strike through the Ardennes. Mein Herren, I believe in you. Go and bring another victory to the Reich.
Exactly. So once again, it's our duty to obey the orders of the High Command. Oh well. Let's go for the briefing.
General Staff to the commander of the operation. According to the Manstein plan, the offensive against France and its allies will be executed in 2 directions. First, the B Army Group will advance in the north through Holland and Belgium. Second, the A Army Group will be deployed in the south. The French and the British are waiting for us in the north, so they placed most of their troops on their left flank. They expect by strengthening the Maginot Line these forces will be able to restrain the Wehrmacht offensive. Therefore, the General Staff recommends a preemptive strike in the north, while the main forces attack France through the Ardennes. The task of Army Group B in the north is to seize Holland and Belgium. Note that the offensive is hampered by numerous water obstacles. Also, your troops are reinforced by paratroopers. Use them to pave the way for the heavy units. Army Group A must get through the Ardennes and cross the Maas River in the Sedan area. The French will not be able to exert much resistance in this sector. After our troops have entered the operational arena, the French-British forces in the north will be threatened by encirclement and will have to retreat. You need to seize the following points. In Holland, the capital, Amsterdam, and the crucial port of Rotterdam. In Belgium, the capital, Brussels. In Antwerp, we must take the area where the defenses of the Belgian army rest. In the south, like Luxembourg, its army will not be able to give you any serious opposition. In France, occupy Amiens. With control over it, the French-British forces in the north of the country will be cut off from their needed supplies. And finally, Paris. After losing the city, the French will find it harder to show further resistance. Unlike in previous operations, now we are dealing with an enemy who is not inferior in strength to us. It is necessary to stun them, and thus a quick reaction is our key to victory. The success of this offensive is especially important to our Führer and the entire German nation. Germany has to repay its enemies for the disgrace of the Versailles peace. The Reich expects only victory. Generalstabschef des Heeres, Generalleutnant Franz Halder.
Well, that took quite some time, but we're in control here, and that means that we can get started with the deployment. And I'm gonna go over my main strategy here. As you can see, we already have quite a couple of forces that are ready to be deployed, and I will primarily be splitting up my forces into 3 different battle groups. As you can see, initially they will be 2 different groups, but they will split up into the 3 groups here. So what am I going to do? There's one group in the north which is going to strike towards the Dutch cities up in the north here, and which will then head towards all the objectives over in the north, taking both Rotterdam and Amsterdam, and then they'll be swinging south. There's another group up here, the second group, which is initially together with the third group, which will split off and go through the Belgian cities, pretty much through this region, and then also swing south, bypassing whatever this is. I suppose it's the Maginot Line or something. I really have no clue, but they have some defenses out here. So yeah, obviously it's not supposed to be the Maginot Line, but I think the makers of this game thought that it would be. I don't know. Either way, these forces in the center are going to break through here and then swing south, bypassing whatever defense they have through there, going through Sedan, and then swing south to capture the important French territories of Amiens. I think you definitely spelled that differently. You spelled that as Amiens, but okay. And Paris here, so yeah. Now the enemy will bring up some pretty powerful armored counteroffensives in different places, so we do have to be careful of that. The most likely place where they will strike us is up here, but they could also go through here. These armored forces are definitely coming from this here location, so you know, if you really want to spot them early, you know, we'll be on the lookout for that. Besides that, one other thing that you really want to be careful of is that the enemy has some warships out here. And in order to counteract that, I definitely need some Junkers 88 bombers. Unfortunately, I only have 1. They do have a second one, but that means that I do need to try and keep them safe, so that they can actually go and bomb the multiple naval units that they actually have out in this area. So you want to be careful of that. Either way, let's start start strengthening up our force. As we can see here, this northern force, it does already have an 88mm flak, but I do want to give it a mobile anti-air as well. I'm putting it in the back for now. And I also want to give at least one fighter to the northern group too. Then I will actually be rocking 2 fighters down south, because most of the fighting will be done towards the southwest anyway. So I have a small force up here near this region to deal with the Belgian and the Dutch forces, and that's also why I have at least one fighter there in order to protect these guys, but most of them are gonna be down there. Of course, currently, let's pick these guys up. We only have this one airfield, so we can't really deploy everything out there, but this bomber and the strategic bomber, they are definitely going to swing south whenever they have the opportunity. Currently, we have 1 infantry up here. I'm going to deploy a second one, and then we'll also have 2 infantry in the south. I'm going to send 1 through this region, and then one of the other infantry units is going to swing south towards Luxembourg and then Metz here. I'm going to try and cross the Maas River at this location first, move towards Reims, and that way we can attack this section from this bridge, and we're pretty much going to bring some forces down south there and take this stuff. That's hopefully going to be a fast endeavor. So we do need a couple of artillery pieces also out in this section. First of all, I have currently 1 artillery up in the north. I'm gonna deploy a second one, so things will be a little bit easier over up in the north here. I think 2 artillery is fine, and then for the southern group, I think definitely we want to have 3 artillery. First of all, though, I will go and deploy them in an area where they can still attack in this region. I will definitely try to get them as close to the front as possible, especially since their movement is a bit tough. We also have 1 anti-aircraft gun out there already. I'm going to send a second one all the way down to the south in order to engage the enemy there. And I will probably send 2 artillery down to the south and 1 over in this section. Especially since we already have 2 up here, I think they might be able to mutually support each other. But we'll see how that goes. Now, for the rest of the group that is going towards the south, I definitely want to get my 2 tanks out there, which are best against enemy tanks as well. I'll place the recon, and then over in the northern group, we already have a Panzerjäger. So the Panzerjäger is definitely going to support the southern group as well. I will place the recon unit in the south, so that is also something noteworthy. I did deploy 1 recon there, and we already have a recon up here, so we'll be able to split up the recons into also quite nicely, because one of them is going to go over in here and the other one is going down south. And I'll have the Panzer IV-C to deal with the situation through the middle here. I'm going to deploy it up here in this area, but it's still going to swing towards this middle section. Alright, so with that said and done, let's end that deployment phase and we'll get started. So first of all, if I go for incendiary strike, let's see, because I currently don't really know how much damage I'm going to deal, but if I use the incendiary strike on these guys for my first hit, I think that will work out quite well. I need to destroy this unit before anything else happens. I can't really cross without having this unit destroyed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these guys, bomb and destroy them, and then move out here. So with those guys taken care of, I could technically already move in there, but I'll just wait for a little bit. So first of all, again, this infantry definitely needs to go. Because they have an anti-aircraft gun, I can't profitably attack these guys already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate this ability to strike again. And finish off the infantry. Unfortunately, the AT gun is also still in the region. So what I'm gonna do... Yeah, it's pretty rough. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm also gonna activate it on this guy and shell the AT gun again. I actually have plenty of command points, so that works out fairly well, I think. So now I can even move onto the bridge hex. And for some reason, their attack is a lot worse than it was before. That's rather unfortunate, actually. Let's move the recon and attack these. And then also attack with these guys. So that destroys that unit. If I... Okay, I can't really do something like that. What if I move the Panzer in there? 1, 4. Yeah, you guys definitely can't attack. Alright, I guess actually for a first... Oh, come on, why does it keep showing me these different results? That's actually really unfortunate. It shows me 1-4. Why isn't it 1-4 now? It shows 1-4, then I come there and it's suddenly 2-3. So now suddenly this attack is actually useless. So that's really unfortunate here. I'm not too happy about this. That's just all I'm saying. Alright, one thing that I'm gonna do though is I'm actually gonna go and move in here. Because that did indeed look empty. And now I took that depot already, so that's quite nice. So I can't actually bomb that, and they can actually move. They have they can move a total of 1 hex. Yeah, 1. So if I go... No, I can't move like this, because then I'm moving over the bomber. But apparently... No, the damage is no good. You guys can't reach there. Alright, well, let's just take a bit of a peek in some other areas. First of all, just move in here. You guys could shell this unit by moving 1 hex to the side. Nothing in there except that unit, so I'm probably best off just trying to get ready. This is the Panzer 38. I'll move it forward. And these guys out here. Because I said already, like, they're gonna swing down. Alright. They probably don't have an anti-aircraft gun there, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bomb that. Move back. Also get me a fighter out there. And that also means that I'm... So this is a bunker, we already know that. Okay, what I'm gonna do Move in here. Paradrop these units. Move into this hex and attack. I think 1 damage is good enough here, and then attack again. Demoralized and fleeing. Well, at least I got them on the run. Then I will use the fighter actually. Get the bomber in there. Go after the bunker. And got some good damage in. Okay. Quite nice. Let's move the anti-aircraft gun. And we can't really move these guys a whole lot anymore. Even though the enemy cannot come from this territory and we have the area blocked by the Fallschirmjäger. So we are actually fine with moving in our artillery up ahead. And I will gladly do so. They could come from here, but they haven't shown anything just about yet. So I think that if I move them into position where they can strike on the next turn, I think that's going to be 1, 2... So if I move in here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can do a double attack or even on that bunker. Yeah, sure. Alright, good. And then I'll move the anti-aircraft gun out here as well. We'll see how that goes. We're likely to take a bit of damage at the very least, but I would be hard pressed to do anything against that. So because these guys now have a movement of 4, as you can see, I can move in here and then 1, 2, 3, 4 attack these guys from the rear if I move with the truck in there. And I don't think they can see it, so that looks to be a very good result. Okay, let's move you up. I already said I'm gonna make the artillery ready to strike. Then I'll get the anti-aircraft gun out into that position. These guys will be moving south as much as possible, together with a second artillery out here. Indeed, and they can't attack on the next turn yet, but that's okay. As long as if I keep them in range of this thing, I can shell next turn as well. So that'll be quite nice. Now, what I do want to do is attack with second fighting. These guys will be down on the next turn already. So if I get the Fallschirmjägers to move here, paradrop also in here, move, and I'll make them surrender. Not the greatest, but not bad, I think. Keep the bombers in check. And I'll also have the anti-aircraft gun around this area. So we have a lot of anti-aircraft defenses. But I think that's really good. Let's get these guys into the woods. I don't think the enemy will be very likely to counterattack real badly, but you never know. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's move you up here. But you never know, so you always want to be a bit careful. Get you out here. What do we have left to recon? I'm not going to move up here. You guys are all fine. Alright. First enemy turn is probably always the worst because of the enemy aircraft, but we'll see how things go. Yeah, let's ship it. There we are already. And indeed, they already took some losses on that. And okay, some Dutch forces. These are the British. And where are they going? They're up here. They didn't hurt anything, so overall I'm quite happy. It's a Bristol Blenheim and a Hurricane. Quite nice how we were able to handle that. let's see how things go out here now. So none of these can move, which is a bit strange from the way things are looking. Okay. Well, first of all, I'll be using the 88mm flak to destroy this bunker. Since that's something that they can do, that's really nice, I think. We're getting the recon out here. More enemies detected. So they have quite a big force. An anti-tank gun. And 2 infantry in here. Okay. No real clue as to what their defense are. These 2 are bunkers. Fair enough. They would indeed get targeted. So what I'm gonna need to do, first of all, these guys are pretty rough to deal with. I'm not gonna be able to do anything nice while I'm on there. Or while trying to cross. That's gonna be a tough nut to crack. At any rate. But these forces do need to move up. So I'm thinking I need to destroy the bunker. I don't see any anti-aircrafts. And for that reason, I want to go after this. And just see whether I can cripple that. Excellent. Because that will allow me to cross at least. And that's something that I definitely want to do here. First with the infantry. Attacking that doesn't seem too bad, but I'll go for the fighters here first. Because I still need to protect these 2 units. And they also don't seem to have any artillery here, so this is going to be a good attack. Still got 1 damage. Oh well. At least I got across, and the enemy, you know, they're not going to be as effective. So after this river crossing, I can go towards this bunker and attack there. Yeah, not too great. Still have this bomber, which I'll use to bomb these guys out here. So now if I move in here, yeah, the attacks are mediocre. Well, these guys are good against enemy tanks, but I kind of want to use them to go after this bunker on the next turn. I think they can attack across the river too, which would be quite nice. I'll try to deal with other things here first. So the Bristol Blenheim is a bomber and this is a fighter, so I'd rather go after the fighter to not get damage on my own fighters. But I will not mind just dealing damage like that first. Let's move in here and attack the bomber. Why am I doing that? Well, if this isn't an anti-aircraft gun, which I don't think so. No, it's an infantry. Now I can actually bomb this unit. And still keep my bomber safe by being close to that fighter. Move in here. Excellent, so they are now guarded. Then I can probably already get these guys in there and attack. Destroy those guys. Use the recon, take the city. And detect an enemy. I'm gonna take the city or the railroad station regardless, but it's good to see that they have an anti-aircraft gun there, because of that at least I know that I can't bomb there at leisure, and yeah, we'll be in a pretty good spot there. So at least we got that uncovered. Very nice, actually. Meanwhile, let's take the recon, which was supposed to be down south. Where's that recon? out here, eh? That's not very far. They're not gonna be able to spot anything out there. Well, what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna use the recon, and I want to use the recon pretty much out in this region to see whether there are enemy units. And there are. Alright, so we have 2 infantry here, so we know that we can't just go out there and have some fun. We'll have to keep these hidden a bit too. So if these guys attack, it looks to be okay, but it's not. But I can actually shell them with infantry. So what I'll do is get these guys into the woods, move you a bit closer, and shell these. Then I'll get in the infantry. Well, we know there's no anti-aircraft gun, so I might as well just attack like this first, and then hope we don't take any damage now. And unfortunately we did. It's always a bit of a risk, but I still think that we got a pretty decent result out of it. So let's get the rest of the... I should have moved these guys closer first, because that would have given me a bonus. It would have been a lot better. Man. I have to be careful not to move ahead too much. I'll take this first and just solidify my position here, making sure that we don't take too much damage. Okay, you're still in range. I'll get these guys to move in here as anti-air defenses. I actually need the Panzer IIA. Yeah, I can send them out here too. So now I'll try to cross this river on the next turn. So again, we're pretty safe from this region, and I'm quite confident about moving my artillery up into this spot. And there's a bunker here. What I'll do, if I move in here, they can quickly cross through there, so that's not an option. But moving my artillery down into this region, and these guys up here, is a pretty decent idea. That way I can keep them safe. And I'll get these guys in here, in the truck, so they have a little bit better defense. Yeah, so now we have the situation up here. I already used my bombers, and now I have to solidify my position. What I'll do, they can't really come from down here, only from this. So I need to cover it, but I already have the 88s to do that. Okay, you can move a bit further. I'll move these guys up here, these in here. Now the artillery can move up. I'll shell this. And what if I go with the tanks now? No. No worries, I don't need to attack at this moment. And if that's not a good attack, I'm just not gonna attack, because there's really no reason for me to go all crazy here. And I think yeah, because they'll be counterattacked as well. That's just no good. They won't be able to cross on the next turn, so I might just as well move up in here. I'm not gonna move down there just as well. All right, let's move you down here and these guys up in here. Let's see what we got going next turn. So I already have yeah, these guys there. I think I want to put this fighter up in here and then just see what comes my way. Let's end the turn and see what happens. Okay, good. And another British fighter. This time they'll be able to attack, but they didn't. That's a Spitfire 1. So why didn't they attack? Yeah, they must have not liked those odds. And those French fighters are also quite rough. Luckily, neither of them did attack, so I'm fairly happy about that. Either way, what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna end the video here. I want to thank you all for watching this first episode. Do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And I will see you all in the continuation of the Follow Road scenario next time. So for now, take care and see you all next time.